But let's start with Marvis, who's in the Highlands, where protesters were most of the night. Marvis, what are you seeing there?
Monica and Erica, good morning. I just want to start by saying most of the night was largely peaceful protests compared to past nights. But just take a look at this damage here at the T-Mobile on Baxter Avenue here in the Highlands. It's just across the street from the Taco Luchador in the Highlands. You can see that this door has been kicked out, as well as the windows broken out as well. And we spoke with the man who owns this building. He says he lives nearby and he heard people breaking this glass, but also getting inside, kicking down one of the doors in there and trying to gain access to one of the safes inside with several phones inside of that safe as well. So there's going to be some cleanup at businesses like this, but we've also seen a little bit of graffiti and some signs. Again, last night, much more or far less damage than what we saw the night before. Far less damage out here in the Highlands than what we saw yesterday. Again, some of the business owners putting up these signs saying that they're locally owned, hoping not to have any of that destruction that we saw. Boarding up their shops before protesters even got here, even though you can still see a few of the signs from last night's protests, some reading Black Lives Matter, one of them reading Justice for Breonna. This is one of the businesses here in the Highlands that we've seen that appears to have boarded up its windows and doors so that there was no looting or no damage. And Monica, at the top of the hour, we showed you some damage to the T-Mobile. We've now moved to this Cricket Wireless on Baxter Avenue, and you can see that someone tried to smash through this window. They were unsuccessful, but most of the protests last night were pretty peaceful, but we are finding a little bit of damage like this. We've also seen some graffiti here in the Highlands as well. And again, some of that damage are down there at the T-Mobile. If you look across the street right here at this bus stop here on this street, you can see it says Black Lives Matter. Someone spray painted over there. But again, not as much widespread damage as we were seeing yesterday morning, but still those tensions really kind of running high as a lot of people are fighting for racial justice in the Breonna Taylor case, as well as for George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. We did speak to some of those protesters last night, a lot of them saying they wanted to remain peaceful, even with the National Guard. We have some video from when they sprayed tear gas into the crowds as well. You can see that on your screen right now. Now, community leaders also joined in the calls for justice here in Louisville and justice in the U.S. We spoke with the president of the Urban League here in Louisville. Here's what she had to say.
If you are pushing for protesting to end and you are not with the same force pushing for justice, we are at a crossroads. We are at an impasse. We deserve justice. There is an expectation that these officers who were wrong will be indicted in Louisville. And the challenge is going to be the timing of that. I know that it will happen. I believe it will happen. This can't go on. So I think what we have to do, though, in our country, we have to begin talking about how could we have this many deaths, this many people killed, innocent people killed in this short amount of time. That's what's bubbling up. I mean, no one's asking those kinds of questions.
And those are the questions many in the community are asking. Again, here is some of the damage out here at the Cricket Wireless. You can see they didn't make it all the way through, but you can see this damage to this window. And we did speak with the mayor yesterday. He tells us that LMPD arrested at least 10 people, but again, far less damage than we were seeing yesterday morning. Back to you.
Right, Marvis, thanks so much.
And our Natalie Grice is downtown. And Natalie, thankfully things were...
But there is some pain in this Louisville community. And the president of the Louisville Urban League, Sadiqa Reynolds, laid out why protesters are feeling so much pain right now and so much racial injustice. Take a listen.
I think we have to put this rage into context. I think people have a right to their outrage, and they have a right to peaceful protest. I think it is so important for us in Louisville because I think we can be the best city in the country to identify how it is that we got here, to understand that people are suffering. Black people especially are tired of being abused, of not being heard. I just have to be honest with you all. That's all I know how to do. When Colin Kaepernick kneeled peacefully, people were upset about that. There really is no way that has been identified by people in power for black people to express themselves.
And we're back out here on Baxter Avenue in the Highlands. Again, you can see some of this damage to the glass at the T-Mobile out here. There was also damage to the Cricket Wireless.